Do you find that it's even a little bit more difficult right now to lead your people? There's a lot more uncertainty. We've got all these quiet quittings and people that are anxious about what's happening and the fast pace of change and everything that's going on in the world right now. Well, that's okay. Stick with me because that happens to all leaders. And I'm going to show you some shifts that you can make to make that whole situation better for you and the people that you lead. Hi, this is Herbert, VUCA Leadership and Sustainable Performance Coach, and today I want to continue our conversation around all things leadership by helping you to lead in the age of AI. There's a lot of narrative going on in the world right now about things like ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, and people are feeling a little bit uncertain about whether or not the robots are going to take over the world, and it's a little bit more difficult to lead right now. By the way, I've just come back from London where I got the opportunity to speak this same message across a stage with a crowd of people who were really feeling what it is that I'm going to talk about today. And I was able to empower them with what to do next. And that's inspired me to bring this message to everyone today so that we can become who we need to be to lead right now. You see, it doesn't matter whether I talk about leading in the world of AI or in a VUCA world or any type of world. That's just to get your attention. Because the thing is that the foundational principles of leadership haven't changed. Those human behavioral elements that we come across as a leader, both in ourselves and the people that we lead, that hasn't changed. What's happening is they're manifesting differently because of the environment that people are working in right now. You see, as I've said many times before, it's not what happens to us, it's what we make it mean. And when people make things mean things about themselves, external situations going on in the world, things like, well, if the AI is there, then will I be needed? All those things create behavior that you need to help them to navigate. Now, I know as I'm talking to you, I'm talking about you as well, because as a human being, you operate under those same three universal fears that we've talked about many times before, just like your people do. It's the fear of not belonging, the fear of not being enough, and the fear of not being loved. And when, as a human being, we feel threatened and one of those fears are triggered, we behave in an irrational and an illogical way. A lot of times the behavior is counterintuitive to what it is that we're trying to achieve. For example, I know in my own life, to stop being rejected, I was pushing people away subconsciously, and that's what's going on. So the first thing I want you to understand is that the world is going through what it's going through right now, but that doesn't make any of what I'm talking about any different. It's just how do we apply these principles in that current context. So to do this, what I've come up with, and I've been working over many years on now, is what I call a VUCA shift. You've heard me talk about VUCA many times before. It stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And it's a term that was coined by the American military at the end of the Cold War to describe the differences in the battlefield and therefore the reaction or the way that you operated in the battlefield environment needed to be different. And that's the same as what we're doing right now as leaders. So we need to be able to take these principles and apply them to the situations that are going on. So the first thing we want to understand with this is that there's more to leadership than telling people what to do. It's not a set of skills that you have so that you can get people to do what you want them to do. There are three faces of leadership that we need to look at. And the first one is personal leadership. What do you need to do to lead you? I know in my experience, the person that I've found the most challenging to lead on a daily basis is me. And that's the foundation of everything that we do in our leadership. The second area is in our professional leadership. That is the area where we employ the skills that we have and the talents to be able to get a result from our own efforts. And then we go into people leadership, being able to use the skills that you have to be able to take people on the journey with you, to lead them to the destination that you are going on together, both as individuals and as a collective team. So if you are watching this and you think, well, I'm not a leader, I don't have people that I need to lead, then I want you to shift that mindset, because leadership starts with you. It starts with you leading yourself well and then being able to lead others well by influencing their behavior, by providing an environment for them to grow, and all those great things that have been taught in leadership training over the years. Unfortunately, a lot of leadership training is teaching antiquated techniques from the 80s and the 90s and even before that. And unfortunately, what that does is disempowers a leader. Today's leaders need to be taught to lead in today's world. No longer are we in the industrial age where we have a manager that has all the information and just tells people what to do and they go and do it, where authoritarian leadership is the only way. We've moved on as well from the information age, where when the World Wide Web meant that we could get any bit of information and answer that we wanted at the touch of a finger, we led people in a different way, and we removed the term manager, and all of a sudden we said, let's lead people and become leaders. We then shifted into that VUCA world, that volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, where the speed of change just kept getting faster and faster and faster. But now we've moved into this age of AI. We've been through a pandemic. There are conflicts going on all around the world. And we've got this element of artificial intelligence that is in the limelight. By the way, AI has been around for a long time. If you've used Google, you've used AI. You know, it's just that it's being talked about so much that people are now fearing what it means about who they are and their place and their belonging. So what I want to do over the next number of weeks between now and the end of the year and going into 2024 is empower you with the skills that you need to develop as a leader right now so that you can lead yourself well and lead others in the age of AI. Well, that's it from me for another week. Join me again next week as we start off in the area of personal leadership, where we lay that foundation around you, the leader. I'll see you then.